A king, he stands with trouble on high, with heavy heart and teary eye, but to save the truth he again must fly.
Stop it. Read your audience. This is no time for your dramatics.
It's the Requiem, my favorite of all the prophetic prose. The next part is really rather lovely.
Tonight we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook we are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube we are streaming live at Iron Port Ghana. Indeed, we shall be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is sit back, relax, and grab your phones and send us your messages and comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177, 0559-019-177. And when the time is ripe, I shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. Please, we are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Stay with us.
Guys, no, I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Once again, the Almighty God has brought us to another successful year end 2023. Thank God He's brought us this far. We are grateful that the year is ending and we are going to go into another new year. It's been a challenging 2023, but of course it started slow. We all prayed and trusted God. Our government worked hard to ensure the economy remains resilient. We've seen improvements down the year, and I think that we are ending the year with at least some amount of traffic, though it will not be hitting exactly the records we have set for ourselves. But we thank God. We have every reason to be grateful to the Almighty God. We are looking forward to 2024 with better hopes, expecting the economy to pick up, for trade to grow through our ports. Ghana, I want to use this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude on behalf of the board and management to all staff of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority for your hard work that has resulted in the progress we've made so far. Of course, all the major trading organizations, public, private, and partners, we are very grateful. We are looking forward to going to next year more prosperous than this year. And we can't do that without forgetting God, our Creator. So let's continue to thank Him and trust Him and pray that He'll give us a 2024 full of prosperity, full of good health, full of happiness and progress down into the end of 2020, so that next year, 2024, by this time, we'll have good reason to be saying thank you to Him again and looking forward to a better future. Merry Christmas and a very, 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 very prosperous New Year.
We won't go till we get some, so bring some.
All right, so that was a beautiful message from the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a prosperous and happy New Year. The clients, exporters, importers, shippers, and every other stakeholder that contributes to business in the ports of Ghana. We appreciate you so much, and we are deeply grateful for the business that you give to us. All right, so we're now going to do some local stories, happenings in the ports and shipping industry in the course of the week. And indeed, in the course of the week, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority had cause to pay visits to Bator and Kita, all in the Volta region, to help ameliorate the plight of the affected victims of the flood. That's the Akosombo Dam spillage. Let's take a look at that story. Plus the fact that GOIL, in what is dubbed December to Remember, has also rewarded some loyal customers. These stories and more. Enjoy.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is the latest corporate body to come to the aid of displaced persons in the Volta region following the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. GPHA, ahead of the Christmas festivities, donated relief items totaling 300,000 Ghana cedis to the Keta and Bator traditional areas. The Port Authority donated 100 bags of rice, 50 boxes of cooking oil, and 50 cartons of mackerel to the Municipal Assembly of Keta for onward distribution to the victims in the area. Receiving the delegation from the Port Authority, the Dufi of Keji, Togbi Joachim Akulache, expressed joy at GPHA's efforts, describing the donation as timely. He revealed that the area has been heavily impacted by the floods, resulting in the closure of schools, churches, and even markets, with the attendant economic downturn.
If you were here during the peak period of the flooding, you notice that the level of water in the lagoon was unprecedented. So we have to find our own means to reduce the impact. So today, Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority, having listened to our call, decided to bring us some relief items. I can only thank you for this gesture, because you are the first organization to respond to a call down here.
The spokesperson to the Awomefia of the Anglo State, Togbe Kumasa, as well as the municipal chief executive for Keta, Emmanuel Gemega, corroborated reports that until the donation by GPHA, the area had not received any support since the incident.
We as chiefs and then the MC, chiefs and government have been appealing to corporate bodies and the central government for help. So you coming here is a good response to our petitions.
Well-meaning Ghanaians should see the plight of us, especially when it borders on school children and women and children. We have to be seen doubling up in our efforts. So we have written a lot, and I've been able to provide a situational report at various quarters, and we hope that just as you did this morning, others will also follow suit.
In battle, donated items included 200 bags of rice, 100 cartons of soap, 100 bags of sugar, 100 cartons of canned mackerel, 100 boxes of powdered soap, 50 boxes of oil, and 800 packs of sachet water. The GPHA team were received by the Member of Parliament for North Tongu, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, who was full of praise for GPHA's response to the distress call following the unfortunate incident.
As Christmas is all about love, giving, compassion, it's all about extending support to one another, and that is what the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has done today. And on behalf of all the displaced persons, my chiefs, my queen mothers, we express our profound gratitude to GPHA.
Marketing and Public Affairs Manager at the Port of Tema, Abna Sewa Opokufosu, said the donation is a demonstration of GPHA's commitment to contributing to national efforts in alleviating such crisis.
What better time for us to come at Christmas, where we're celebrating love, compassion, and showing kindness to your neighbor. So, like the chief said, even though we are by the sea and their incident happened by the river, what makes us Ghanaians is our ability to bury any differences that may be there and to be able to rally around and support each other. So if we are here, it's just for them to know that they are not alone. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is thinking about them.
Ghana's leading oil marketing company, GOIL, has rewarded loyal clients and hard-working employees at the Chiado service station with the December to Remember end-of-year promo. Winners were given various home appliances such as microwaves, kettles, blenders, digital TV sets, refrigerators, rice cookers, and GOIL-branded items and hampers, among others. An astute businesswoman and entrepreneur in Chiado, Regina Owusu, went home with a brand-new deep freezer for her several years of loyalty to GOIL. She encouraged transport operators to patronize quality fuel from GOIL.
Well, on the product me fine. Me started talk where me nya problem dia wo me cars no. Enti wo mo ne me so fine. Relationship ni you good. Enti me need to say abre nyina me GOIL be ye adwuma. Enti me koso nso ka kire me nanfofo ese obi bia enjoy GOIL na a good products.
South Zonal Manager of GOIL, Helen Tremanting, said the promotion is a way of saying thank you to all customers and workers of GOIL in spirit of Christmas.
When you buy any quantity, at the end of each month, 2 months, 3 months, or the end of the year, we put all your figures together and we give you the beautiful gift that you are seeing. So all customers, please come to GOIL station. This Christmas is for you and GOIL. Get to any of our service stations and you'll get yourself a beautiful parcel.
She further appealed to all road users to be cautious and adhere to road safety regulations during the festive season.
We need you. Yes, more drive here. I'm to Mubuasi. Namon driver ne dia wakwa waba. Just put Super SP Round 95 in your vehicle. And for diesel and for our lubricants, please get it. If you want your engine to last for longer, please get product from GOIL.
right, it's now time for us to take a look at some international shipping stories.
After a month of attacks by Yemen's Houthi rebels, the number of bulk ships diverting away from the Red Sea Suez Canal route is reaching epic proportions, according to freight forward and insiders. The backbone of east-west trade is suddenly taking a backseat to the traditional route around the Cape of Good Hope, which adds 1,900 nautical miles and 10 days onto a typical Asia-North Europe container service. According to top forwarder Keenan Nagel, there are about 120 container ships totaling 700,000 TEUs taking the Cape route as of Wednesday morning. This passage is made regularly by VLCCs and Cape-sized bulkers, which cannot fit through the Suez Canal, but is almost never used by bulk ships with their valuable and time-sensitive cargoes. The only other time in recent shipping history when bulk ships made a massive U-turn towards Africa's southern tip was in 2021, when the bulk ship Ever Given went aground and fully blocked the Suez Canal for 5 days. In a related development, leading liner companies including industry giants Maersk, MSC, CMA CGM, HMM, and OOCL have suspended trading on their Red Sea trade routes. This decision comes in response to a series of targeted attacks on merchant ships operating in the region, raising alarms within the global shipping community. The Red Sea is a critical maritime route connecting Europe and Asia, has witnessed a surge in security threats, prompting these major players to prioritize the safety of their vessels, crew, and cargo. Namely, the Houthi army is targeting commercial ships in the Red Sea as a form of retaliation not only against all Israeli-linked vessels, but also all those heading to Israel until the aggression against Gaza stops. The Houthi army, who control much of Yemen, including the Red Sea coast, is trying to use the attacks as a bargaining chip, pressuring the international community to address the conflict between Israel and Hamas.
Okay, so it's now time for the word of the day, and today's word is canal. Canal.
A canal is a human-made waterway that allows boats and ships to pass from one body of the water to another.
All right, so we are now going to zoom into our discussion proper tonight. And tonight, you can call this edition the Christmas edition. Tonight, we're taking a look at how to leverage on technology to enhance cargo delivery in West Africa. And we have a guest from Cars Broker in the person of Mr. Eugene Ohiming. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Cars Broker. And we'll be having this discussion with him to ensure that cargo delivery across West Africa is on point, is apt, and that we're able to do everything in our midst to maintain the lead slot as far as deliveries from our ports is concerned. So let me say a very good evening to you, sir, and welcome, Eugene.
Good evening, sir.
First of all, I would want you to begin by telling us what Cars Broker is.
Okay, so in the simplest form, Cars Broker is just a market platform for trackers, where we serve as intermediary between freight forwarders and then truck drivers around the port.
And how long have you been doing this?
Oh, it's a startup, and we've been in business for over 2 years now.
For over 2 years?
Yes.
And how has it been?
So far, so good. And it was rough because we started around COVID, and technology adoption around COVID was high, but it was low on the side of the drivers because, most of these drivers are cargo delivery in the sub-region.
Right.
Also, the industry is highly fragmented. Several drivers operating in silos. Also, we have environmental issues, carbon emission, because driver routes are not well planned. Hence, the driver just move around and they are just emitting carbon dioxide, and that's very, very dangerous for the sub-region.
Right. So those are some of the challenges that you've observed in our quest to deliver effectively cargo across West Africa.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So let me find out from you, the cargo trucking market, how popular is it in our part of the world?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for the question. It's highly patronized because most of our cargoes are being moved by road. Hence, all our cargoes moving by roads are being conveyed by drivers.
Right.
Hence, this industry is highly patronized and very, very viable. But because of its disorganized nature, we are not seeing how effective and potential this industry can serve to this industry.
When you say disorganized, what do you mean?
For instance, in Ghana, about 70% of truck drivers are being owned individually. If I say individually, more or less like owner-operators.
Okay.
So we have a driver who owns one car.
I have my own truck and I drive it myself. Is that
Yes,
what you mean?
so those are called the owner-operators. And then we have a fraction of them who are independent drivers. So you are not the owner, but someone is the owner. But he might have just about 2 or 3 trucks running around the port. And then we have transport companies. So there are about 3 of them: owner-operators, independent drivers, and trucking companies working around the port. And before I answer your question, you asked yourself, what is technology? Technology in its simplest form is just the application of scientific knowledge for practical processes in an industry. That's all what it's about. So what science are we applying in this industry to enhance the activities? Supply chain or logistics, we may say, have 2 turns, where you look at time and then you look at money.
Right.
If you are not optimizing some of the activities here, when you keep your cargo at the port, it calls for cost. So the last mile cargo delivery is what we are looking at.
Right.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. So let's come to Ghana. You've been in operation for 2 years. Is it in Ghana or across West Africa?
Okay, so we are doing Ghana and some of the landlocked countries, because most of these landlocked countries fly their route through Tema.
Yes.
So we also serve some of these landlocked countries, Burkina, Mali, and Niger.
Niger, that's a transit.
Exactly. Exactly. Currently.
What's the patronage like? Do you face any resistance from most of these operators, the truck operators?
At first, it was very new to the drivers because they are not too familiar with this tech business. You go to them and then all what he tells you is, I just need business. I don't want any app. So we have to re-engineer all the system and put them into WhatsApp. But at the back end, we have a TMS that runs through and then manage the freight forwarders who are posting the load and then the drivers who are finding the loads.
Right.
So our system is very simple. We are focused on the freight forwarder. We are focused on the truck driver.
Right.
So truck drivers are serving the supply, which is being generated by this freight forwarder, which is the demand. So we go to the freight forwarders, they give us their cargo, and then we offer these cargoes to the drivers as load. So we are in between, and then we serve the driver and the freight forwarder.
So give us a typical day in the life of a cargo truck driver who is transporting cargo, say, from here to Niger. Now, once he takes delivery of the cargo, where do you come in? At what point do you come in to ensure that, yes, the tracking device that is there, do you place place a tracking device on the vehicle?
Okay,
right, so tell us.
So,
typically what you do.
know, one of the challenge that shippers are facing is end-to-end visibility. All the way from the origin, you want to see all the way
to
his
the
final
destination.
destination. Now, shippers see all the way from Spain. It gets to Tema port or Takoradi port. As soon as the cargo leaves the port, they are blind. They have to pray and wait for their cargo to arrive safely. We come in with tracking devices. We install them on the cargo. Hence, we send links to these importers or shippers, and they will monitor their cargo 24/7. I give you a typical example. We worked for a man who was in Europe. He heard of our service, and then he insisted his agent use our system. He was sitting in Belgium and was monitoring his containers all the way to Kumasi. It got to a point, one driver stopped around in Koko. He had to call the driver, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Oh, I had to stop and rest." I said, "Okay, fine." The first time, he didn't use our service, and it took him about 7 days for the cargo to get there.
Right.
Once the drivers saw that they were being monitored, they made sure.
Are these your people?
Exactly. So these are drivers we onboard onto our platform. So onboarding drivers onto our platform is the most crucial part of our system because we've seen several cases of diversion around the port. So we pick few points as far as data is concerned. We make sure we onboard the drivers, we vet them and approve them on our platform.
Right.
So any driver on our platform has been vetted and approved before we allow drivers to take cargo on our platform.
So you say onboard drivers onto the platform. How do you do that?
Okay, so we have devices that we use in onboarding these drivers. We take their fingerprints, their iris. We have information about their licenses, their Ghana cards, next of kin. We have few points of data that we pick just to make sure that we have full information about these drivers. I was a freight forwarder for some time. I've been a transporter for some time. And we identify the pain
points. So you have the experience of both.
Exactly.
A freight forwarder and a transporter.
Exactly.
And so you blend, and currently you are dealing with both.
I'm dealing with both
so you
now.
have a grasp, hands-on experience. As
Fantastic.
Far as
So the pain point of the freight forwarders were considered. We did survey to pick pain points of the drivers and pick pain point of the freight forwarders. The freight forwarders came out with two main issues. One of the issues were the pricing or the rate the drivers give. And another problem also was the drivers were not disciplined and were not straightforward with their work.
Right.
So how do we streamline this? We made sure that these drivers go through training. During the course of interviewing them, we educate them on few things. And once they are onboarded onto our platform, we educate them and train them on few things, on safety on the road, defensive driving. We show them. This week we were doing training on axle weight on our drivers because it's very, very important. We realized some of the drivers don't even know that when they weigh their empty trucks or the tail weights at the axle weight, it's free. They don't know. So we had to educate them and show them that go and check your tail weights so that you know your maximum weight, the cargo in which, the cargo that you are supposed to carry at the end of the day.
Yeah, right. Okay, so in your initial submission, you made mention of carbon emissions and how, transporting cargo contributes significantly to this particular phenomenon. And these days, everybody is talking about going green. I mean, and that was why people gathered, the whole world gathered in Dubai recently for COP28, just to see how best every country, across the world can contribute to lowering, global, gas emissions and all that, carbon dioxide emissions. Let me just find out from you. So, what would you say is the correlation between transporting cargo and carbon dioxide emissions?
Thank you very much for this question. In 2019, EPA had a report where they stated that about 10 million tons of carbon emission were emitted into the country, and about 75% came out of trucks. So you ask yourself, are these trucks on the road being efficient? Number one. Number two, most of these about 40% of these trucks on the road are running on deadheads. If I say deadheads, they are running on empty truck.
Yeah.
So you find a truck being moved to Kumasi, where he can drop his empty truck or drop his empty container at one of the depots there. Now he goes and then drives back empty back into the port for load.
Yeah.
Our platform doesn't even allow that. If you're a driver and you go to Kumasi and you're not returning any container, we find load around the region or even eastern region for you to bring back. Now, the emission here is our system has route optimization. So for instance, if you are moving from the port and it's daytime, we check on the route whether there's traffic at Pokwase or anywhere, so you don't go. Because once you go in the traffic, the carbon emission is high if you stay in traffic. So we allow them to wait and then move around nighttime, and they go peacefully and then arrive at their final destination. So we have a system where we optimize this route, check from here to Kumasi, if the driver is going to Kumasi, see all the traffic points, ask the driver to wait. For instance, he moved to Insanwem and there is traffic in Ejiso.
Yes.
We'll ask him to wait until the traffic is down and then he can continue the journey. That saves us from this emission being into our space.
Right.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, like I asked earlier, a typical day in the life of a truck driver, using your services, using the services of cars brokers, you have your, what do we call a tracker on my vehicle. Now, once I load, at what point do you come in, and at what point do you extricate yourself from the truck as you know, cars brokers?
Okay, so as I said earlier, we are aggregating demand from the freight forwarders, which is the cargo, and then we are offering this demand to these drivers as supply or loads.
Yeah.
Now,
okay, so before we proceed, it means that the freight forwarders come to you.
Exactly.
They call you.
Exactly.
I have this cargo I'm supposed to deliver to so and so person in so and so place.
Fantastic.
So we need your services.
Fantastic.
To track the cargo.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right.
Okay, so drivers on our platform, they stay in the comfort of their home sometimes, and then receive alerts of jobs. Once they're okay with the rate and the destination, they match the job. So all what they do is to click on the link and then put in their license number and their readiness for the job.
That's the drivers.
The drivers.
Right.
So that's all what they are supposed to do. Once the container or cargo is loaded, we affix our tracking device. We bind it with the transaction, which is the BOE. So what we do is quite different from what customs is doing, because they are focused on suspense cargoes.
Yes.
Cargoes which duties are not paid.
Right.
There's a chunk of space where cargoes being cleared. Importers want to see from the port all the way to their final destination. So that's where we come in, and then we provide that service, that visibility from the port to the final destination. We are not only providing visibility for these importers, we're also providing security. The tracking device also checks tempering, checks the speed, check all this information, then gives alert, a periodic alert to the freight forwarder, and then the shipper or the importer as well. So we are in there making sure cargoes are being moved and seen from the port all the way to the final destination. Thank you.
So I can sit in the comfort of my office or home and monitor my cargo all through to the final destination.
Fantastic.
Just on my phone.
Just on your phone.
It looks like it must be quite expensive.
It's very cheap. We are providing service for the drivers. So we take a commission from the drivers. It is free to the freight forwarder. Now, I made mention of the transport rates. Because the industry is very, very fragmented and disorganized, you can call 5 drivers, rate to Temale, and all of them will give different rates. On our platform, it's not so.
The drivers charge you different rates?
Different rates.
Okay.
The same distance, the same fuel that will be used, but drivers are charging different rates. So you ask yourself, what's the problem? So our system has a rate estimator where a freight forwarder will come in and check his rate. And the rate that is being checked is what you are paying. We don't charge extra on the rate. The rate will be seen by the driver. So there's transparency here. So if the rate is 1 cedi, It's 1 cedi for everybody to see.
Across board. Okay.
But we just take a fraction of that 1 cedi from the driver because we are providing that service for the drivers.
Okay.
And it's very cheap. Our rates are extremely cheap and competitive.
Right.
Because we have put in all the factors in place. And sometimes the drivers or the trucks just checking the tire pressure or making sure the tire pressure is okay will make the driver not consume more. Some of the drivers don't even know that by overloading the truck, the consumption will be high. So we make sure the right load. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so let's still stay with the drivers a bit. How trustworthy are these drivers? I'm not talking about diversion or anything because you are trackers, so you track wherever they are. But in terms of their competence and professionalism, I might be able to get a license and bring it to you and say, okay, this is my license. This is my qualification as a driver, and so I can do the job. And we have categories of licenses.
Exactly.
And so I upload it. How are you able to test me to know that I am actually submitting a genuine license and that I'm competent and can do the job and not go and mess up somebody's truck? Because the truck is not for the driver. You have put a truck there for the driver to come and man and take to wherever he's supposed to go to.
Thank you very much for the question. That's a very smart question, if I may say, because all the agent asks all these questions.
Yes.
Now, so we've taken into consideration the first hand training when we onboard the drivers.
Yes.
We will try you to see ourselves. We don't sit in our office and onboard drivers. We go on the field. It took us 2 years to onboard almost all the drivers around the port.
Yes.
Because that's the most crucial part of what we are doing. One of the things we check is to make sure that the driver has some experience. The way to check with just documents by looking on the class of license the driver has.
Right.
If a driver has license C and is driving a truck, why would I give a load to him?
Right.
So just the mere fact of the driver having license F tells a story that he's been in for a time.
Okay.
And then we interview them and ask, how many years have you been driving? Can you give reference? Which trucks have you been driving? Your former truck owner. So we do all this verification before we approve. So if we check from the information you gave us and there's any hinge, we don't go ahead and approve. We will put you on hold and make sure that we verify all the information being given. So drivers are well vetted before we onboard them. After vetting, once they are working for us, we rate them.
Right.
And then make sure that A drivers are given jobs which are highly sensitive. So we place them in that order. Thank you.
Okay, so the driver and vehicle licensing authority is the go-to place in terms of driver certification and all that.
Exactly.
In your due diligence, do you collaborate with them? Do you go to them? Do you seek clearance from them and to clarify from them whether indeed what do we call it, licenses submitted are genuine?
There is a platform that we use in verifying these drivers. There is a system that we've hopped onto which verifies these IDs in Ghana. So any driver we onboard, we make sure we verify on that platform before we onboard. So we onboard them with their license and Ghana card as well. So as you rightly see here, this device checks all the bio.
It looks like a tablet. Is it a tablet?
Yes, it's a
Like
tablet.
a tablet. Okay, sure.
But that is very rugged. So we pick their fingerprint,
right,
and then we put their Ghana card here, which has a chip in there,
right,
and it gives the exact information in the card to verify the one on the card.
Okay.
So we don't just use their license to onboard them.
Right.
We use Ghana card, and then we use their license to onboard.
So far you've not had any challenges using them?
So far, no. So far, no. Yes.
Okay, so 2 years down the line, I'd want you to assess yourself and see how far you have come, whether indeed you have been able to meet your targets. I know each year, like it's 2 years, I mean, just quite brief, but every year you set yourself targets and you want to achieve a certain milestone in the course of the year. Have you been able to do that?
Yes, we have. From the beginning, it was very tough because...
Do you have competitors?
Currently, no. So
you're enjoying some form of monopoly?
So we started very rough because COVID, and then everybody was trying to migrate onto online.
Yeah.
the shipping lines, the terminals. I must commend what the terminals and shipping lines have introduced. Some years back, this is not what we were seeing at the port.
Right.
Now you go to MPS terminal, and if you are on Green Channel, within 40 minutes you are out. GPHA also introduced what we call the e-port, and is doing fantastic.
Absolutely.
So the terminals are doing well. The shipping lines have also introduced technology in their system where you can sit even in the comfort of your home and release cargo. Whereas some years back, you always have to go in there in person and get it done. I must also commend GRA and ICUMS for being so innovative as far as custom clearance is concerned. Now, as I said earlier, you go to the port, because we are running the paperless port, things are seamlessly done. Because first, you need to walk all the way to FDA, walk all the way to Standard Board, walk all the way to EPA before you can be attended to. Even IDF, you need to type it and take it to the inspection companies. Now, with the introduction of ICUMS, we don't see all these things again.
Right.
And that's fast-track the cargo clearance at the port. Now, so all the stakeholders have introduced tech into their system. What happens to the freight forwarder and the truck driver? That's where we come in. So our system is ready to integrate into any form of platform where a freight forwarder can sit in the comfort of his home, schedule an appointment, and then a track will be issued. And the tracking link will be sent to any number you put in there, either the importer or the forwarder as well. Thank you very much.
All right, so let's take a look at the benefits of cards. But before then, we'll take a look at the digital marketplace and what sets you apart, makes you special in terms of tracking.
So what we are running is non-asset-based tracking platform. So we don't own the trucks.
Right.
We onboard drivers, and then we present them, those which have been approved, to these freight forwarders.
Okay.
So we don't deal directly.
Whose responsibility is it to provide a truck?
Okay. So that's our mandate.
Right.
So any driver we onboard drives under our authority.
Right.
So you listen to us, we show you the way, you follow, and then we have a successful service.
Where do you access or source your trucks from?
So when we started, we went straight to JAP2,
right,
which is the union which have these drivers working under them. So JAP2 is the first place we went.
Right.
And then we went also on the market because some of the tracking companies are not part of the union. So those who are not part of the union, we go directly to them, and then we onboard their fleet onto our platform. So we don't only have union tracks on our platform. We have tracking companies also who are in the fleet range of 50, 20, 10, even one.
Right.
Bring them onto our platform. And then we try and make sure that they are onboarded and approved. And then we seek for jobs for them. So it's our mandate to seek for jobs for these drivers. So we tell them, don't bring the truck all the way to the port to cause any traffic and congestion around the port. Just stay home, and then jobs will be issued to you, and then you come the next day and work. So we hope that in the near future, drivers will not be seen parked around the port, parked in their homes, wait for their turn, and they just drive all the way to the port and load.
Do you have numbers or the number of trucks you are working with at the moment?
Exactly. So we onboarded about 2,700 trucks, but we've approved only 700 for now.
What happens to the remaining 2,000?
Okay, so some of them you check their numbers being given, and the names on the numbers is quite different from the names on there. As I told you that the onboarding process is very rigorous for us. We make sure that the right drivers are being onboarded on the platform.
Right.
So it takes us quite some time to approve a driver. So maybe by the end of next year, we'll be able to approve all these drivers, and then
all the 2,700.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So it means that there's a shortfall.
Exactly.
Would you say that?
Rightly so. So we next year we've introduced more devices, and then we are going to the field to make sure to verify some of this information. Because if a driver gives us information, we don't just base on the information being given and approve.
Right.
A lot of background check is done. That takes some time. But then we are employing more hands to fast track this checking and verification activity so that we'll be able to do all these drivers and then approve them. Thank you.
All right, so are you accountable or are you responsible for some of the rickety trucks that we see on our roads? You know, I'm just trying to find out from you the criteria you use in the selection of your trucks, because there should be some criteria, because they should be roadworthy, they should be strong enough to be able to do the job, rather than perhaps load and go breakdown along the way. And most of the time we see some of these trucks very rickety, very, very worn out. And you can see it's crystal clear physically that this is not on, but they are on the roads. What's the criteria for selecting or choosing the trucks that you onboard these drivers onto?
Thank you very much. Every driver we onboard has to be cargo worthy. If I say cargo worthy, roadworthy has to be active. Insurance has to be active. As I rightly said earlier, we don't sit in the comfort of our office onboarding the drivers. We go inspecting these drivers and inspecting the truck as well. One of the things we look out for is worn out tires. We will make sure that the driver is in shape, the truck also in shape. So we register the driver separate, and then we also onboard the truck separate. We don't onboard all of them, because you have a driver driving a truck today and then tomorrow he's no more driving. So we deal with the driver separately and then we deal with the truck separately. At the time of the job is when we match the driver and the truck. But we make sure every driver we onboard or every truck we onboard is of cargo worthy. So if it's cargo worthy, then it means that we are not responsible for those rickety trucks moving on the road. So we make sure the truck is in good shape, the axles are okay. Some of the problems these drivers have with these axle weights is because some of the axles are spoiled and they don't even know. So we have devices, machines that we use in diagnosing trucks that we onboard as well, and make sure that they are in good shape. Especially if we have a long journey service that we have to apply, like the Burkinas and the Mali. We make sure we check all the tires, they are in good shape, and then we diagnose the car and make sure that the car is in good shape for the job.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, because that was going to be my next question, because if DVLA says the car is roadworthy and you look at the car physically and think that, no, this is rickety, it can't do the job. I was going to say, do you accept it just because by mere virtue of the fact that DVLA says yes, it's roadworthy? That was what I was going to ask, but I think that you have dealt with it. So let's take a look at the benefits that would accrue to somebody that engages you or uses your services. I mean, you've mentioned some of them and how you can sit back in the comfort of your home and monitor the cargo all through to the final destination and all that. I just want to find out from you, what do they stand to gain if they should ignore all others and say, okay, I want to go with you?
Okay, so the first thing they have to consider is that is the comfort. And the comfort they are enjoying is not coming with a price. That's pure comfort without any additional cost. Number two, we have cargo insurance covering every cargo that we pick, which is the goods in transit in cargo.
You buy the insurance for
Yes, we buy them from the commission we make. Because we have to make sure the service is not that premium.
That even though very expensive.
Even though it's premium, we are trying to reduce the cost, because the cost of doing business at the ports, we are all trying to reduce that cost for the customer. Because bear in mind that any cost added to services at the ports comes in the long run on goods and services that are being sold on the market. So we make sure that we are not highly expensive. All this insurance that we are patronizing, we don't surcharge it to the customer, which is the forwarder. We absorb it from our commission that we make, and then make sure that the cargoes moving from point A to B moves in a safe way and then arrives without any problem.
Now, when you say driver-based costs is one of the factors that accounts for high cost, rising costs, perhaps in terms of doing business, what do you mean? How do they become the factor that is making the cost go high? I know you earlier mentioned about the fact that yes, all others they have the prerogative to choose and they are able to determine what rate they will charge and all that. But yours is a flat rate and you make it transparent as possible. And so you either agree or you don't take it and you move along. But tell us, how do they contribute to the high?
Okay, so if you look at the operational cost of tracking, the highest among is fuel. And fuel is about 34% of the operational cost, whereas in advanced countries, about 22.
Right.
So there's a big gap.
Absolutely.
Now, the drivers, if your car is due for service and you're not servicing, that will consume more fuel.
Absolutely.
This is basic.
Okay.
As I told you, that technology is just scientific knowledge being applied practically.
Yeah.
So if a car is due for service and you are not servicing, that obviously will consume more fuel.
Yes.
Secondly, if the tires are worn out and the pressures in the tires are not the same, obviously it will consume more fuel.
Right.
Sometimes they even put load on the car. You have 4 or 5 spare tires which are not even in good shape on the car. The load on the car also contribute to the consumption of fuel.
Yeah.
So you see, when you educate them and you tell them that all this pallet you've put in on the truck, all this load, all this extra spares which you don't need that is on the car, is contributing to the high consumption of fuel to this truck. And hence, once you remove it, a typical example, the same truck, the same axle will pick a load of the same weight from Tema to Kumasi, and 2 cars, one of them will consume almost a drum, and the other will consume a drum and a half. The same destination, the same truck, the same weight. When you check, you realize that one was due for service 6 months ago. So these are driver-based problems, which is making the cost of transport very high in our market. So we check all these things and even check your service log books and make sure that these drivers are servicing their trucks rightly on time. So these driver-based problems, we are trying to reduce it, hence reduce the cost of operation at the end of the day. Finally, that will also reduce the cost or the rate that we are charging to these importers or the freight forwarders.
All right, so let's take a look at the adoption of technology and how that would help. I want to say that if you come to our ports, like you rightly mentioned, I mean, there are a lot of things that have been done for automation, for digitalization and all that, and that kind of like eases, you know, the process in terms of doing business and all that. But with reference to transportation and tracking, how far have we come in terms of technological penetration?
I might say we've come a long way, and we have also some years ahead of us to catch up.
Right.
Once we are talking about technology, we need to also compare what's being done elsewhere and what's being done here.
Yeah.
There are few technologies which can be introduced into the sector, which will make the sector very, very efficient. If you talk about e-tracking, as I rightly mentioned earlier, if you talk about making sure these drivers service on time, if you talk about the drivers picking the right load, because most of these drivers are not even aware of the weight they are even carrying. Around this time, every driver wants to carry a cargo around the port. Hence, they don't even check the weight that they are carrying. Overloading the truck causes a lot of problems to the truck, increases the wear and tear, makes the truck to consume more fuel. Now, technology being introduced here, for instance, if you get to the port, once you enter the port and come out, technology ends there.
Right.
Because if you are going to MPS, the gate operating system, it's been highly automated.
Yes.
Hence, you don't see anybody at the gate. You go and then you come out. Once the driver come out of the port, everybody is blind. Nothing is being seen. The first point I mentioned earlier was optimization of the route.
Yes.
So we have a system to check the route in which you are going to fly and make sure that there's nothing on that route, no roadblocks, no traffic, and then you go smoothly to your final destination. This is what we have introduced, which is called the route optimization system, to optimize and make sure that we have efficiency at the end of the day. Once efficiency is gained, it reduces the cost of doing business as well as far as tracking is concerned. So these are some of the tech services that we provide.
I'm curious because I know there are so many people complain of a lot of roadblocks. You know, when you're going to Burkina, Mali, Niger. So I wonder how you can have a smooth sailing per what you just said. How is that?
Okay, so we don't even come in as far as customs processes and procedures are concerned. We are just a private company offering a service to the freight forwarder and the shipper.
Right.
Now, if a driver gets to a roadblock, all what he needs to show, because we also link the drivers on the platform.
Yeah.
The driver can show the officer, be it customs or police.
Right.
He can even see the route, can even see the weight he has carried. Because we are running in a paperless world, these drivers, first we have to give them all the invoices and parking lists and all this information. But on his phone, you can see the declaration number and then see the route, the time he loaded from the port, see all this information as more or less like a timeline being scheduled for the driver. So the roadblocks, we have little mandate or say as far as police checkpoints and customs checkpoints are concerned. We are providing this service seamlessly for freight forwarders and the drivers to ply through.
Tell us about customization and integration.
Okay, so our system is very simple. So in the customer's front, it's all about WhatsApp and phone call.
Right.
At the back end, that's where we have our TMS, which can integrate to any form of terminal operating system or track appointment system, scheduling system, release systems from the shipping line side. So if you want to just release, we can integrate to the shipping lines. I recently even realized that most of the shipping lines even have open APIs where you can easily integrate.
When you say API, what do you mean?
Okay, so application programming interface, where two systems can speak to each other. So the shipping lines have even made this provision available on their website. A typical example is MSC. If you go to their website right now, they have made provisions for integration, for invoicing, for release, for booking. So once you have this API, you can just connect freely and then sit in the comfort of your home and then request for service from these shipping lines.
Right.
So applies to the terminals. I know MPS has a lot of provision as far as API is concerned. ICOMs also have API integration. That's how come you see all the MDAs, the EPAs, the FDAs are able to connect to the platform. So we can connect to any form of platform easily and make the service readily available to our customers. That's the drivers and the freight forwarders as well.
Now you tout 24/7 availability as one of your strongest, points, and good customer care. Tell us about it.
Okay, so I give you a personal experience.
One of your strengths, yeah.
So we are readily available to answer to any call. As I tell you, when they send in the request, it goes to the system and comes to on our WhatsApp as well.
Right.
So even if it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., there's somebody ready to attend to your needs. But hardly do you see requests coming in after 9. But then we are available 24/7 to make sure that we attend to the needs of these freight forwarders. Because most of the freight forwarders would want the track now. Yeah. They request and they want you to provide. That's where we come in. We have the pool of tracks, and at any given time, we can match the load in which you are posting.
Right.
So their request, we call it posting of the load. They post load, and the drivers come in to find the load.
Right.
One of the things that we do that saves time is instead of allowing the drivers to bid for the job, we do bidding process every week.
Yeah.
For instance, we have regular routes in which we ply.
Right.
The Accra, Spintex, Tema, Kumasi, Temale. So every week, we make sure the drivers, we agree on the rates with them.
Yeah.
The drivers also have a say in the rate estimation. We
Right.
don't just sit somewhere and then give them figures to accept.
Yes.
The drivers on their own, every week, every Monday, we send them prices of the current fuel prices, which is the highest factor as far as the rate estimation is concerned.
Yes.
After that, we also make sure that they agree on the rates on the basic routes, the Kumasi, the Tema, the Temale, the Accra.
Yeah.
So once the rate is agreed with them, immediately you come in with a request. We negotiate with you and make sure that it's falling in line with what we have agreed with the drivers. Hence, to save time and make the service very seamless for you, the freight forwarder. So we deal directly with freight forwarders. Right. We don't deal with the importers or shippers. We only send alerts to the importers or the receivers at the end of the day.
Right.
But we deal directly to with the freight forwarders and the truck drivers as well.
Awesome. All right, so this is Eye on Port here on Metropolitan Television, and Eugene Oheming is the Chief Executive Officer of Cars Broker. They are into tracking, of vehicles as far as transportation of cargo is concerned across West Africa, and you heard him, the good things that they are doing to enhance cargo delivery in West Africa, particularly to our neighboring landlocked countries of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Because tonight we are discussing how to leverage technology to enhance cargo delivery across West Africa. We're going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risks Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Telling my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima, tell him more. As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, You experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Happy Shabbat to all of you. Merry Christmas. Let there be light. So,
Happy New Year!
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
Terminal 1 and 2. The multi-purpose terminal wishes you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year! Hip, hip, hip! Hip, hip, hip! Merry Christmas to you! Merry Christmas to you! Merry Christmas to you! Merry Christmas to you! Merry Christmas to you!
We won't go until we get some, so bring some out here.
So compliments of the season from the staff of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to you all. We thank you so much for choosing us. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a very prosperous New Year. Tonight on Iron Pod, we are discussing how to leverage technology, to enhance cargo delivery across West Africa. And in our studios tonight is Mr. Eugene Oheming, who is the Chief Executive Officer of CAS Broker. They are into vehicle and cargo tracking, and they are currently operating in the port of Tema. And in his initial submission, he said, look, they have about 2,700 trucks, but currently they are doing only 700 trucks, and they wish and hope that in due course they'll be able to offload all the 2,000 trucks. That will make it 2,700. It's no mean an achievement, and we wish to commend them for what they have achieved so far. Let me come. I think you have some devices. We have some messages here. Maybe a few callers will also want to ask one or two questions. If you have any questions, you can call. The number to dial is 020-552-8353. 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. If you have any question you want to put forward to Mr. Oheming, and he'll be able to provide some responses to you. I can see you have some devices in front of you. Can you go by, over them one by one, maybe in 30 seconds each, and let's see if we can, what they do. Yes, this is the tracker you are holding.
Device we have that we have fixed them on the containers,
right,
or on a bulk cargo,
right.
So once a cargo is being moved from the port to the final destination, so this is intelligent seal lock,
right.
So it does sealing of the container as well, which secures the cargo,
right.
And then it monitors 24/7,
right.
It takes about 20 days on the journey to go off,
right.
So this is what we use for cargoes being moved from the port to the final destination.
Right.
Now we
so
have.
How easy is it to destroy this? If I want to tamper with it and destroy it, just
okay. So it has sensors and alarms where even if you try to put a metal
it will trigger
closer to this, it will trigger an alarm.
Okay.
And then we have these devices where this is also for trucks.
Yes.
If you are a truck owner.
Not only trucks.
For trucks, any form of equipment,
okay,
be it excavator, be it bulldozer,
right,
or trucks,
right,
or even Murphys at the port.
Right.
So if you want to fix them permanently on the trucks, it takes about 3 years.
Right.
So we have requests where
once you affix it on the truck, it takes 3 years
to go off.
3 years.
Exactly.
Off. Okay.
So we will maintain it for you, service it every month, and make sure these devices are working on your trucks for you.
Okay.
Now, so we have this solution, warehouse solutions that we have here. So this is also a tracking device, but this comes with inventory management system, where for bonded warehouses, for free zone warehouses, or even for your personal warehouse, for stock taking.
Right.
So these are fixed on the gate of the warehouse. Once you open the warehouse, it triggers into the back end of the system, and then you have to match every opening with a transaction.
Right.
So if it's not a normal cleanup where you have to just go into the warehouse and clean, and it's for work, we have scanners that scans automatically on the boxes or the packages that are being entered in there. And once the packages are coming out, it's being scanned as well, and that is recorded in the system.
Right.
So you can be anywhere and still monitor your stock in your warehouses. So these are the devices we've introduced that is helping the community.
Yes.
So the freight forwarders, the truck drivers are in safe hands now.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Great. Okay, so let's do some messages now. And this one comes in. It says, is there any punishment CAS has for drivers who don't comply with your business protocols and regulations? This one's coming from Joe in Tema Newtown.
Okay. Joe, thank you very much. So quite recently, we had to blacklist some drivers on the platform. For instance, you give them an appointment to go and load, and they will take another appointment elsewhere. You know, we have two main places that we pick cargoes at the port.
Right.
We have Terminal 3,
yes,
and then we have Terminal 2.
2, yeah.
Now, he will take an appointment from an agent to go and pick cargo at Terminal 2.
2, yeah.
And then he also take an appointment at Terminal 3
And
at the same time.
They coincide, yeah.
Now, it gets to the time and you call him, he doesn't pick. So we make sure that once you are being given job, we make sure you don't pick any form of cargo at the end of the day.
Sure.
We had a scenario where drivers, when they were onboarded on the platform, were exhibiting that behavior. So they were picking cargoes which were being given to them at Golden Jubilee and leaving the ones at FPS for reasons known to them. Now, when it happens that way, it becomes no-show to MPS. MPS might have assigned trucks, might have assigned machines to load these drivers. They will expect these drivers, and none of the drivers will call or show up. It becomes no-show to MPS, and that's very bad. On our platform, we will know drivers which are calling for no-shows, and we take them off the platform. So your first punishment is to take you off for 2 months, and then we try and educate you and tell you the essence of not canceling an appointment without any form of recourse.
Thank you. All right. So we have Grace, who's calling us from Tema 25. Good evening, ma'am, and thank you for calling.
Good evening. My name is Grace. I'm calling from 25.
Awesome. Please shoot.
I'd like to ask a question to Mr. Eugene.
Yes.
Okay. So he made mention of the drivers are being monitored.
Yes.
On their routes going. So what if the driver misplaces his phone or decides to run away with the truck and throws away his phone? How do they track him or call him to know where he is?
Okay, the driver deliberately throws away his phone and, runs away with the truck.
Yes.
And the cargo. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I must say that will be very difficult because we are not there. The devices are fixed on the cargo, on the container, sealed. The driver plying on the road cannot open, do not have access. This device can be remotely opened or use an RFID card to open. So the driver will not have any form of access to open this cargo. Now, on the issue of diversion, as I said earlier, we try and go through rigorous means to onboard drivers. So the driver personality is something that is considered at first. We ask some questions like, how many cars have you drive in the space of 1 year? Because you have a driver hopping from one car to the other to the other. That sometimes tell you the kind of behavior
the driver exhibits on the job.
No driver can just run away with our cargo. So far, so good.
You haven't received any such?
We've not received any form of cargo diversion. Our system have been used to even help freight forwarders who did not even ply our service. 2 instances where we had agents coming to us that they loaded 6 containers from Jubilee, and right after coming out, one of the drivers diverted the cargo. Through our system, we were able to help the agent with some information, and then he was apprehended the next day. The following week, we had another incident where an agent also came to us with the same diversion issues. I can tell you, diversion cases around the port happens every other week. But because it comes out of the port and there's no issue of revenue at stake for custom to chase, and there's no issue of shipping line charges, nobody even cares about it. We coming in this space have realized that diversion is a major problem around the port. And drivers are diverting cargo every other week. So our solution here is to help monitor. We will not give you a driver who will come and divert your cargo because we have data points, next of kin, their house location, which have been verified. So we make sure that drivers moving cargoes on our platform are well vetted and approved. That's how come it has taken us long to approve all these drivers on our platform.
All right. Okay, so I understand we have Jamra who's calling us from Amazon. Good evening, sir. Hello, Mr. Jamra.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah, hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead. Yes.
So, okay. Is there, do they have processes where, is there a process where, for genuine reasons, maybe for genuine reasons, a truck cannot pick up, if for genuine reasons, a truck cannot pick up a cargo designated for the driver to pick up, maybe some genuine reasons. Is there a process? Maybe the truck can break down at the last minute. Is there a process where those things can be rectified?
Okay, a process where it can be rectified?
Yes.
Okay, all right, sure.
For genuine reasons.
Great.
Okay, all right.
So the truck breaks down at the last minute. You know, it's a vehicle, and anything happens at the last minute.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Jamna.
Okay. Thank you very much. So with the terminals, MPS, for instance, has a block appointment system window of 3 hours.
Right.
So if a driver has an appointment, he has a window of 3 hours to honor that appointment. Should in case at the last minute he's not able, well, we call the drivers an hour before the time.
Yes.
So once we call you, are you ready? Are you cargo ready to go and load the cargo?
Yeah.
If they say yes, we go ahead and then confirm the load.
Yes.
If they say no, because we have a pool, and MPS has a facility where you can cancel that and then rebook another truck.
Yeah.
That can be easily done. For GPHA, which is quite easy, once the load has been released, the truck can go in there. So upon any reason that you cannot show up for that appointment, we have pool of drivers to replace that truck with another truck.
Right.
So cars are machines and has fault or has the ability and tendency to break down at the last minute. So we don't fault drivers when that happens.
Okay.
Some drivers have genuine case. Some don't.
Yes.
They would pick several appointments and decide to honor one.
Right.
And when that happens, it becomes no show for the other terminal. And that's not what we accept on our platform.
Okay. We have barely a minute to go. This one says a lot of your stakeholders are drivers who you earlier admitted are often illiterate. What are the common challenges you face when trying to get their buy-in with the new this new service? This one's from Apia in Wager.
Apia, when we started, we had a front-end app for the drivers. We had a driver where we assigned a job to. He called us because he was supposed to just accept the transaction. He called us that he doesn't have data. So we should send him data before he can accept that transaction.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm bringing you a job, and you're asking me to give you data before you accept the job. So we had to go back to them and find out which means will be very convenient for them. And they said WhatsApp, call, or text. So we had to re-engineer the driver front end onto a WhatsApp platform, which all the drivers have. So in onboarding them, we check whether you are using an Android phone or you are just using a YAM. We have all these data points where we make sure that drivers with YAM, we send them the link via text message and they call and confirm. Those with Android will just match the load on their phone and they are in on the platform.
This one says, how do you envisage your niche industry in the near future? Do you see more companies follow your lead in the sector? Kwamina from Solpond.
Obviously, Kwamina, we are in a country where once a business comes in the limelight, everybody also follows suit. But once we are in and then we've gone through that pain point, we will pave the way for others to also come in there. So obviously it's open for everybody. The market is very big. We are doing close to about 1.2 million TEUs on the average in a year now. We cannot cover all. So a lot of people can come in, but come in with the fundamentals.
Yes. So in conclusion, economic impact on development, just 30 seconds.
Okay.
Our time is up.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Once there is efficiency, there is cost reduction.
Right.
And that will affect the economy because the cost of transport in our setting here, West Africa, is 3x as compared to the advanced countries. If it's cheap, that means that the goods that are going out onto the market will be also cheaper. This helps inflation as well. So once we're able to optimize the activity, efficiency is achieved, inflation also goes down, goods and prices at the market also becomes cheap for everybody to patronize.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Eugene Ohiming, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Cars Broker. They are into tracking of vehicles and indeed cargo. And they are operating currently in the port of Tema. He told me they would be in Takoradi pretty shortly, and then the Kotoka International Airport pretty shortly, and then they will spread to the across the West African sub-region. Remember, tonight we've been discussing how to leverage technology to enhance cargo delivery in West Africa here on Iron Port. We thank you so much. I would like to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, Guel PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, indeed, and Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. God willing, next week we shall bring you a recap of all that has transpired in the year on the show, and we shall be wrapping up the year with that. We thank you so much and wish you the best in the Yuletide. We wish you a prosperous new year ahead, and enjoy the merry and make merry during the Christmas. And we will be meeting again on the 31st to wrap up the year. We wish you the best and keep watching the rest of our programs here on Metro TV. My name is Kennedy Mona. Remember, the abridged version of the show will be aired on Ghana Television on Wednesday at 8:30. Enjoy that too. Have a super evening.